Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast with Don and Suzanne Manning. Parents, what if we could give you the power to transform your family into something absolutely amazing?
A family where everyone is healthy, gets along, loves Jesus, and has great purpose in life.
Hey, let us flip your thinking to unlock the power God has given you to create your own Crazy Cool family. Hey, Crazy Cool parents, Don here. Suzanne and I were at church this weekend, and we were listening to our pastor talk about how we are all in an overload of information. And it made us think, let's remind everyone the core of what Crazy Cool Family teaches. And we did a podcast on this almost a year to the day ago, and we want to bring it back to you this time. So we want to remind you of our family dashboard, the tool that we use, the primary tool we use to teach parents how to build relationships in your home. And it's also a precursor to some things that are coming up with our Basecamp membership site that you're going to want to be listening to as the month of September goes on. God's given us some great revelation of how we interact with you as parents and bring our Basecamp tool to market, our membership site, and you're going to want to listen to that. And the family dashboard is just like this precursor because it's the core of what we do. So take a listen to this podcast, which was released last year, and you will see that when you use the family dashboard, it becomes this tool you use over and over and over again to help you become a relationship expert in your home. So here goes. Well, hey, Crazy Cool parents, welcome again to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast. Don and Suzanne Manning here. We are so excited about today's podcast.
So excited.
So excited. And the reason is because, and this is a podcast that you want to save, come back to, listen to again, because we're going to talk about today what we call our family dashboard. It is the central theme of what we do, Crazy Cool Family. So a lot of podcasts, we're talking topical or whatever, coronavirus stuff or whatever, but this one is just central. You know, it is absolutely central.
And this, I would say, is you said it's the key, it's the secret, it's a tool. I mean, I love all those words to having a crazy cool family. And so Don said to keep this one and listen to it again. I also encourage you to share it with people that you know that want to have a crazy cool family, because this is, once again, a tool that helps families be crazy cool.
Yeah, someone once said, if you want to teach people a new way of thinking, which that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to teach you a new way of thinking. And this person said, if you want to teach people a new way of thinking, don't bother trying to teach them. Instead, give them a tool, the use of which will lead to new ways of thinking. So that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to give you, and we didn't, it's funny, we kind of stumbled into this tool. We didn't really just all of a sudden one day say, oh, here's the family dashboard. It's like,
I just love it because it's God inspired. It was not something that we created ourselves. It was something that God did in our lives and our family along the way. And then he gave us a picture. And so now the picture is
the picture of what we'd already been using.
Exactly. And so then instead of doing, we could now see. And once we could see, we could now explain it. How many napkins have you written this on during lunchtime or dinner with a father or with a family that we're trying to share this tool with?
It's what we do when we want to say, hey, what is Crazy Cool Family? That's what we do. We draw this out for people because it shows you it's a tool that helps you assess. Remember our vision that the strength of your family will be determined by the strength of your family relationships. Where do we get that? It's what Jesus said in Matthew 22. They said, what's most important, Jesus? He said, love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. In other words, the relationships in your family are most important, and the family dashboard is a way for you to quickly assess and understand, assess, and then be able to improve every relationship in your home.
Yeah, so it's an assessment tool called the Family Dashboard. So
Right.
that's what it's called, the Family Dashboard.
Okay, so today we are trying out some new technology. So what we in Apple Podcast, well, any podcast listener that you have that's up to date has the ability now. I just heard this on another podcast, so we're trying it out. So if it doesn't work, it's okay. We'll try again. But I mean, we've got some technology people that are going to help us try to do this. But
God bless our technology.
yes,
people.
and so when you see our picture in the podcast, there can come up now illustration, and so what you should see right now, if you look at if you're driving, just don't look at it. But
you can glance at it. You know
That's
how
right.
you're scanning the road.
Yep.
You can scan at it for a second and then look back up again.
maybe
Make
if
sure
you're at a
keep your eyes on the
stoplight or
road.
something, yeah. So
Pull over.
yeah,
I mean, that's how
exactly.
important this
Yeah.
is.
But you will see a diagram of the family dashboard for a 2-child home. So so hopefully it's showing up in your screen right now. If not, we'll try again next time.
But for sure, their link is in the show notes.
Yeah, so we also have a link in the show notes for you to be able to see one, as well as another link to be able to create your own. But so what you're seeing in the dashboard right now is your 2-child home. And so now there's a number of relationships in there. If there's 2 kids in the home, you have 10 different relationships. If there's 3 kids, you have 15, 4, 21, 5, 28, 6, 36. And guess what? For 7, we have 45 relationships.
Isn't
in our
Don
home.
brilliant with that high level math? I still can't figure out how he does that.
Well, I just draw them on the dashboard and count them.
Oh, you didn't incrementally, exponentially
It does actually.
multiply
Yeah, I
out and
could
then
go
add
into-
2 minus 3.
Yeah, I could go into the math
Factor
behind
in
it,
the
but
A and the B.
basically, I wanted to be sure I was right, and so I've drawn each one of them and counted them. If you want to know the truth, so literally going back to what we were saying. One day we've always done this in our family. We've done it for many years, but one day I was just talking to a dad, and I said, "Look, here's what happens. And God's at the top.
Right.
The spouses are in the next level. The kids are at the bottom of the level.
So it's
and
kind of
we-
like a pyramid or triangle.
Yes,
so you've
and
got
then-
God at that top.
And as you connect all the relationships, you connect God to everyone, you connect one parent to everyone, you connect the other parent to everyone, and you
Each
connect
parent.
the kids to everyone.
Yeah,
and
to the parents, to the God, to
Yeah.
each other.
and all those relationships, if you going even deeper, there's 5 types of relationships. Another podcast, but there's, if you understand the relationships in your family, you will understand your family. And if those relationships are also, all those lines, here's the beauty of the family dashboard is that if all those lines are strong, if you can look at your diagram and you can say, yes, every line is strong, every line to God, every line to the parent, every line kid to kid, if all those happen, then your family is going to be amazing. I mean, parents, it'll happen. If your kid loves Jesus, they're going to be, we always say the easiest kids to raise are kids that
Right.
love Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to love you. They're going to obey better. They're going to do all these things. If your siblings are tied together, they're
If they're
going to get
getting
along.
exactly. If they're getting along, then you've got peace in the home, right? If you've got a great relationship with each one of your children, or you've got a great relationship with your husband, your wife, then that's what we're talking about. And so on this diagram, this dashboard, this picture of this tool, this tool, if you will, you've got the lines, and each of the lines can be an arrow, and it's a two-way street. It's representing the relationship going back and forth. And what you want to do, the assessment part comes in, is when you just take a minute and you evaluate, how am I doing with kid number 1? What is our relationship like? Are we frustrated with each other? Is this child annoying me all the time? Or is this child a blessing? Is this child not obeying? And so then you press into that. Well, what do I need to do to make them not be annoying? Or what do I need to do to not be frustrated? And what do I need to do to step up my parenting game so that they will choose to obey?
And that leads to your prayer time. You say, oh God, hey, I'm struggling with this child right now. For example, right now of my 7 children, there is one, I won't name that child, but there is one that I am struggling with. That relationship is not as good as the others. I mean, it's okay, but it's not like we're not really fighting. But I've been really praying about that relationship.
Right.
Lord, help
That's the
me
answer.
to know how to
Connect
with that child. What am I doing? Help me not to be frustrated with that child. And, or, we've
Help
had,
me understand and give me revelation and insight into what that child is thinking or doing or feeling, and then give me the wisdom that I need to connect with, the words to say, the activities to do, the time to spend. So many times, parents, if there is a breakdown between you and a child, if you'll go spend some one-on-one time with them, that will dissolve and that line will become strong again. You have some good conversation, some individual attention, and that helps. And the same thing helps, imagine this, with your spouse and with God. When we spend some one-on-one time with God, it's just shocking how that relationship can get stronger.
And what's so cool is we all need, a lot of us are visual, and so
I am, for sure.
And so it is a great way. And it's almost like now we have used it so long that the family dashboard is, even though we have 45 relationships and it's all over the place, it's in my head. I can visual, but at first it helps to just draw it out. And we've got a tool there in the show notes to help you do that if you haven't done it already. And put it somewhere where you see it a lot, where it becomes, remember, if you use a tool, it's going to eventually change it's going to lead you to new ways of thinking. And that's what we want to do. We want to lead you to start thinking about the relationships in your home. And so therefore, it makes red flags come up that then you can take. For example, you see older child fighting with younger child.
Right.
And you go, and instead of being angry about it and going, oh, what's going
and just,
on?
I feel like sometimes we get caught up in the world and it just takes us away. But what this tool does is it brings to mind the intention that needs to happen. Intentionality of, okay, these two kids aren't getting along. Oh, their line's broken. Their line's messed up. We got to work on their line. And so again, it leads you back to prayer. God, help me to figure out. We've done this so many times. Our 7 kids are very good friends. They love each other, but it's because God has shown us ways to knit their hearts together. There's been many, many times when those relationships weren't good. And still today, sometimes those relationships get strained. And, even with our 20-something kids, we're always trying to pay attention. Oh, our kids that are 20-something,
yes.
not that we have 20 kids.
That's true. Our 20-something age kids.
But one of the things you even said, Don, which is good, I want to bring up too, is that, of course, you're going to connect that line back to God, that, you're going to invite God in to give you insight into those relationships getting along, but also your kids, that oldest kid and that youngest kid that aren't getting along, you tie them back to God too. You invite them back into that relationship with God to pray for that relationship.
Right.
And so it just helps us to see as parents the places where there are weaknesses when it comes to the connections of our relationships.
So what you're saying, Suzanne, I think, is that we can teach our kids the family dashboard as well, right?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, definitely, because then you can cut through all the words. You and your brother aren't getting along. You need to get along better. You need to take care of your brother. All of that you can cut through, and you can say, how's your line with your little brother? Is it strong or is it weak? I mean, done.
Right. Because your family all wants good relationships. But many times our selfishness or our lack of attention to it makes it where we don't pay attention to it. But when you focus your family on the relationships in your home, and again, the family dashboard is just a tool for it. Now you have a common bond that it brings unity to your family because everybody...
You're speaking the same language. You've got the same picture in mind. You're working on the same project, which is connection in the family.
So we've had many instances where, we along the teenage years, your kids deciding what they're going to do with their relationship with God. Well, so many times our older siblings have, because they are so in tune with the relationships, they pursue the relationship with their younger sibling in order to help that younger sibling connect with God. So, they understand the relationship dynamics. But parents, it all starts with you.
Right.
And it all starts with this easy, what the family dashboard is, just an easy tool for you to be able to see all of those relationships in one setting or one picture, if you will, so that you can go and I, like I said, I look at it in my head right now and I'm like, oh, wow, this is where I need to focus. And it's such a great tool to help you laser, because in reality, most in your family, there's always going to be some relationships that are good and some relationships that are not so
Because
good.
they're all growing, they're all evolving, they're all changing. The different seasons bring about different changes. There's little touch points in our kids, little sensitive spots. And so as parents, when we're made aware of that, when we can see that and we can meet our kids where they are, then that's what this tool does, is it shows us, oh, this is not going well.
Yeah, and
So let me
what's
press
cool
in.
is in just a little over 10 minutes here, and we've gone into pretty strong
Right.
detail here. We've been able to explain the family dash. It's such an easy tool to use when you implement it. It's not easy in terms of fixing the relationship sometimes, but it's an easy identifier.
But it's to bringing your attention to it.
Yes,
identify
it's an easy identifier. It's an easy tool to help you with your intentionality. And so, parents, if you're not aware, what we do at Crazy Cool Family, we are always trying to point you back to the family dashboard. We're always trying to point you back to two things: relationships, and then the culture to make those relationships flourish. And so, Family Dashboard helps you to do that. And so we have a membership site called Basecamp, and in Basecamp we give you training, and encouragement, inspiration over and over again in that site in order to help you implement.
There's courses on siblings as best friends. There's courses on your relationship with God. And so, yes.
And simply all we're trying to do is to help you make all those lines in that. Everything points back to that one thing. So go those lines, so goes your family.
Okay, so let's get super practical with them, okay, Don? And let's just challenge you as parents to take a couple minutes alone with either you, it can be alone, or your spouse, and look at your personal dashboard. Look at each line and then make a list of the relationships. And then, Don, what are some of the things that they can say, that they can ask themselves about each of those relationships?
Well, I mean, strong or weak.
Right.
Is there a lot of conflict in the relationship? I mean, are you avoiding that person, or are you embracing being with them?
Yeah, I'm like, how much do you listen to the child? Do you want to listen to them? Do they want to talk to you? Do you want to talk to them?
And so what parents usually do at this point is they will look at, when you look at that, when you draw that diagram, you will immediately say, oh, that's couple of the ones that really need issues.
And sometimes I'll even say, draw a squiggly line or a broken line or a dotted line. Go ahead and represent it in the line itself on what kind of line you think it is. If it's a solid line, then make it a bold line.
And so the practical thing is to draw your own family dashboard. Use the link in the show links to be able to prepare show notes. Show links, yeah.
Link in the show notes.
Yeah, there you go.
New terminology for us.
And then create your own. Look at it.
And then ask yourself these questions, and then the Lord will bring to mind other questions too, to assess each line, because the line represents the relationship between the two, things that the line is pointing to.
And then, as we've stated, just take those one or two relationships, go to God and ask Him, what do I need to do to connect with this? It may be your spouse, it may be a kid, whoever it is, it may be God. Maybe you look at it and you say, man, because parents, we say all the time that the best fathers and mothers are first sons and daughters of the King. Mm-hmm. So it may be you look up and you say, man, I just really haven't been spending time with God, and that's because of that I'm prone to anger or whatever, and maybe that's what you need to do is to focus on that relationship. But then, so that's one very practical thing you can do, is to look at your family dashboard and then focus on those one or two relationships. And the second practical thing you can do, parents, if you're not already involved with us, is to really look at joining Basecamp, because we're going to give you the training you need to be able to do that. And guess what? Sign-ups are happening right now.
Right.
And so we are, as of...
We only open it up so many times a year so
Yep.
we can gather all the people, because not only is it a base camp, an incredible opportunity, it's also a community for you to join.
Right. So if you're listening to this maybe way later, we may have another sign up coming.
It's coming. It's on our website, crazycoolfamily.com. Check it out.
But
anytime.
hopefully you're listening to it the day it comes out. Right now, you're listening to our podcast or our emails that we send to you or whatever. So just go to crazycoolfamily.com/Basecamp. Again, we'll put a link in the show notes that'll get you there, and you can sign up for it. And we'll start everybody together. And the first thing we do, the first month, the first few weeks, we are going deep into this family dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
We are going deep into how to do relationships. We're going deep into how to do culture. So, that would be a great start for you right now.
And I love it that you said we're going deep, because that is fascinating. But if that word intimidates you, I want you to know that we go deep by dripping a little at a time.
Yeah.
And so don't think I don't have time for this and I can't do this and I've got too much coming at me at one time. We get you. We know that. We have 7 kids. I mean, we've got 3 grandkids. We've got 3 in-laws. Our family is incrementally growing. So we know that time is crazy. And so we do not shove a bunch of information down your throat that you can't digest. We drip it in.
Literally like 10 to 15 minutes at a time.
Yes.
So you're or reading a text, or being able to go to the library and pulling down a 5-minute video.
Brief.
We're not going to ask you to do a 12-week course and you're going to have to do
homework and worksheets and research. And wouldn't that be lovely if we all had time to do that?
Yeah, or
because the family's worth it, right? I mean, we want to invest our time and energy into family. And if we could, we would do a 12-week course that we did research on, and we'd get our master's degree in how to make these relationships amazing.
Yeah, but really the key is, and that is true, and there's so much we can learn, but the cool thing about doing family well is you can get a little nugget like we've given you today.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And you can take that nugget and you can turn it over to God and you can process it with God a little bit. And all of a sudden you're going to see breakthrough.
Because you start applying it, because what you give to God, He multiplies. And so you apply that. And the next thing you know, the family that you had yesterday is very different than the family that you have today. And then today's family is a blessing and is amazing. And you're over the top grateful for it.
Yeah, because in the stuff that we give you, it's simple stuff, but it's profound stuff that's going to change your family. And so, and really the hard part is really not learning what learning how to pursue a relationship's not hard. It's actually applying it over and over again. So go to, 2 things as we wrap up here today.
Right. Wrap us up.
Here we go. Is that 1, go to the show links, go to the show notes, click the link. One of these days I'll get this down. And,
until then, we'll just laugh at you.
Yeah, exactly. And we will, and do your own family dashboard.
Yes.
Look at it and say, what relationship? Maybe don't do 7 relationships. Do 1 or 2. And which ones do I really need to focus on? Take those to the Father. Ask Him for wisdom. Ask Him for insight. Ask Him for patience. Ask Him for compassion for whatever that relationship is. And then act on it. And then the second thing is to go to the link in the show notes about going to our Basecamp and go check it out and see if it's for you. We've made it so simple, so affordable. We love it, and it is our way to walk with you in your parenting journey. We want to walk with you. Hey, parenting, you don't learn parenting in days and weeks. You learn parenting in months and years.
Yep.
And that's
present
why
themselves.
That's why we don't write more books necessarily, or just try to throw out more information to you. Our Basecamp is a site where we can walk with you every step of the way to help you learn how to make your family relationships amazing. And when that happens, you will have a crazy cool family.
Yeah, go check it out. Everybody we've got in Basecamp right now absolutely loves it. And I believe that you are going to love it too. And that your family will take away multiple golden nuggets that you can apply to make your own crazy cool family.
Yeah, because ultimately we want all our kids to love Jesus, to love us, and love each other. That's our goal for you. It's our goal for our family. It's God's goal for your family, and we want to help you get there. So Thank you for having us in your life today, whatever that looks like, in your car, in your where you're walking around, whatever you're doing, exercising. And we love you, and we want to be with you every step of the way. Go be crazy parents, crazycoolfamily.com.